What's up, everybody? Welcome on into the live show. This is a little different for this channel. Obviously, I don't live stream very much, but I'm hoping this off season that this is finally the time when we make live streaming a part of the regular schedule. So, to everyone that's in here, kind of like a new thing, unannounced for the most part. I did a little thing a couple minutes ago, but appreciate all you guys. My goodness, already, Aaron, you were the first one in here, and you're already donating, bro. I appreciate you. Dude, you're like one of the top supporters of the channel for sure. At least the comments that I see. There's a bunch of you guys, though, that are awesome. Say what's up to some people in the chat. What's up? So I might not be able to pronounce some of these names, but what's up, all you guys? Man, appreciate all you that are in here right now. If you haven't already, make sure you hit the like button. We got 40 people in here already, so see if we can get to 40 likes on the stream so far. This is kind of just like a hangout type of stream thing. Don't really have too much planned, but we got some news to talk about for sure. I got some articles that we're going to go over. But yeah, man, we are here. Appreciate you, bro. Nice hat. Thank you. Thank you. Philly Prods, what's up? Leroy, Hector, Gavin, Eagles for Life 23. China's a good supporter of the channel too. I see her commenting all the time, so I appreciate you. Man, all right. So I guess let's jump right into it. Obviously, biggest news of this week has been the Eagles hiring Kevin Patullo as their offensive coordinator. And obviously that's got some people, there's two sides to this. Some people are split. Some people think it's a good hire and they're kind of applauding it. Some people are not so sure. I myself, as I said in my video yesterday, I'm kind of in the middle. I think there's definitely pros and cons for sure. I like the fact that he's been here for 4 years with Jalen Hurts. I think that continuity is a good thing. But also, I understand the skepticism with obviously the whole Brian Johnson situation a couple of years ago and everything that happened with that. But I don't think it's going to be the same thing as Brian Johnson. And I'll explain why in a minute. But let's say what's up to a couple more people. Sala, what's up, bro? I appreciate you. Birdie, all you guys. All right, let's see if we can. Oh, my thing just froze for a second. Hopefully you guys are good over there. Let's get into some of these articles. Let's talk about the Kevin Patullo hire. Let's see here. We'll do this one, share, and then hold on. I got this. Oh, that's got me in the corner. That or this. We'll go with this for now. Leroy, what's up? Oh, I appreciate you so much, bro. You guys don't have to donate me money. Like, that always feels weird. Every time I've live streamed and that's happened, I don't know how to react to it, but I appreciate you guys. Thank you. All 45 of you in here, thanks for being here. All right, so let's read a little bit of this article. So obviously, like I've been talking about, the Birds hired Kevin Patullo to be their offensive coordinator. Pretty much, ever since we knew Kellen Moore was going to go to New Orleans, that's kind of been a foregone conclusion that Patullo was going to be the guy. With how fast it happened and with the lack of news like leading into it of, no one really mentioned any other candidates, I guess it kind of just happened right away. They didn't really seem to interview a lot of other guys. But let's read this here. So who wrote this article? Brandon Lee Gouton of Bleeding Green Nation writes here, from the outside looking in, Patullo doesn't necessarily seem like a slam dunk candidate from a merit standpoint. So here are a few of the concerns that people have been talking about. Obviously, he's never been an offensive coordinator before, and he doesn't really have any play calling experience. Personally, that's my biggest concern because we saw how, again, that went with Brian Johnson, him having never called plays at the NFL level before. And, we're kind of in our Super Bowl window right now, obviously. We're Super Bowl champs coming off that. And, people are talking about a potential Eagles dynasty. You got the prime of Jalen Hurts, A.J. Brown, Saquon Barkley, all these guys coming up. So you want to maximize that. And I understand the reason why people aren't exactly the biggest fan of, hiring a guy that's never called plays at the NFL level before. Also, here's another area of concern. He's been Sirianni's right-hand man ever since arriving in Philly. So obviously, 2023, a lot of that offense was Nick Sirianni's offense. So people are concerned it's going to be, the same sort of thing. And then they say that passing game hasn't exactly been awesome this season. They're ranked 14th in passing DVOA, tied for their lowest ranking in any season with Hurts as the starter. But that has a lot to do with Saquon Barkley, to be fair, I think. I think, the passing game is what it is. I think, there's just a lot that you can say about that, but I'm not going to be overly concerned about it. Personally, all these concerns, I feel like I've seen things that kind of give you reason to be a little bit more calm about this stuff. For one, the thing about him potentially being Sirianni 2.0, just in terms of like the offensive play calling and that type of stuff. Hold up, Sal. I appreciate you, bro. $10 donation. Good luck with the channel, bro. Go Birds. Go Birds, man. Man, I appreciate all you guys. But I'll leave that up here. You deserve to stay up there for a while. What was I talking about? Oh, yeah, Patullo. Sorry if I'm a bit all over the place, guys, just because I'm not used to doing live shows. But I will get better at it the more I do it. So yeah, the reasons I'm not too concerned about Kevin Patullo being, Sirianni 2.0 in terms of a play calling perspective is actually due to some stuff that I saw from Eagles reporter Zack Baun. I believe he's from PHLY Sports. But let me see if I can switch this thing here. Hold on, guys. Present, share this one. Okay. Let me go to this. So he put out a lot of tweets on the Kevin Patullo hire, so he deserves, props to him. But let's see, what was I talking about? So here it is. Kevin Patullo on the perception that he's an extension of Nick Sirianni. Patullo said, quote, "I would say that's unfair. If you're in or around us, you would see we're not the same. I think we work because we don't see it in the same way, which is good." And that's just one thing, because he put out a couple more tweets as well. Let's see here if I can find them. But he basically was talking about how, Patullo is a guy that's going to stand up to Sirianni. Obviously, like he just said, they don't see things eye to eye all the time. But he's not just going to let Nick do whatever he wants. Here's one. So one nugget on the Patullo-Sirianni relationship. In September, the Eagles were playing in New Orleans the same weekend that LSU had a home game. Doug Nussmeier's son is LSU's starting quarterback. The staff wanted Nussmeier to go to the game. Doug didn't want to bring it up to Sirianni, and then Patullo actually pushed for Nussmeier to bring it up in a meeting, saying, "Doug, ask Nick." And this is just an example, basically saying that one of Patullo's roles on the staff is to call out Sirianni whenever he's, quote, acting like an a-hole. So, again, I don't think it's going to be an issue where he's just going to listen to whatever Sirianni says, kind of like what we saw with Brian Johnson. He's not going to get, like, trodden on, walked all over like that. He's going to be able to be a guy that stands up to him and, he's his own person, basically. So I feel like that's all definitely promising for sure. But I'm curious about what you guys think about the Kevin Patullo thing, because I know there's people that are completely split on it. Let's see if I got any comments here. My biggest concern, so Eagle says, my biggest concern with hiring Kevin Patullo is the fact that if he comes in here and has an outstanding year, some team will want to try to get him as a coach, and then we need another. Yeah, so that's definitely a very legitimate concern because Patullo is a guy that people have been calling like up and coming for years or whatever. And obviously, this is like the hottest job in the NFL right now. Like if you want a head coaching job, you want to get that Eagles offensive coordinator job first because that's a fast track if you have a successful season. So that's definitely a legitimate concern, and I'm not a huge fan of that either. But at the same time, I do like the fact that it's still, at least for this season, you're trying to maximize this window, right? So hopefully you can get like maybe 2 years out of Patullo if he does perform well as the offensive coordinator. But you're trying to maximize Jalen Hurts' prime, and Patullo's probably the guy that's been around Jalen Hurts the most and been on one-on-one situations with him the most over these 4 years. And obviously, he's got to learn under Shane Steichen, who is a successful offensive coordinator here, and obviously this year Kellen Moore. And he also saw what not to do in 2023 with Brian Johnson. So I feel like he's got all the tools and all the experiences to succeed at this job. It's just about whether he can do it or not. And again, my biggest concern is the play calling aspect of it, just because he's never done it before. But we'll have to see how that plays out. Like, I'm not going to be here like flipping out over anything. Obviously, I had said in a previous video, like Patullo was not my number one guy, and I definitely would have liked to see them, go on the outside and bring somebody in, just because we saw that worked well this year with Kellen Moore. But at the same time, I'm not going to throw a fit over it because I do see, positives of this hire, and also, my goodness, also, dude, I just totally lost my train of thought. But I do see positives of the hire. And, oh, yeah, I'm not going to, like, crap on the guy who hasn't even gotten a chance to prove himself yet. Sorry, I apologize for that. But, yeah, I'm not just going to, like, I want to give him a chance is basically what I'm saying. Let's see here. Michael says, Evan, I truly enjoy all your content, which is why I keep coming back. I appreciate you, bro. All you guys that watch these videos consistently, obviously there's some other Eagles creators out here that are fantastic, by the way. They do such good work. But there's a lot of competition. So for you guys that watch these videos, I appreciate you. Aaron, I feel like I owe you this. He says, who do you think the GOAT is of all Eagles quarterbacks? Also everyone else too. At this point, I feel like it's not crazy to say that Jalen Hurts is the best quarterback in Eagles history. I mean, he's gone to 2 Super Bowls. He's won 1 Super Bowl MVP. And he's put up really good stats in his first 4 years as a starter. So, obviously you got some all-time greats like Randall Cunningham, Donovan McNabb, guys like that. But none of them could ever do what Jalen did. He won a Super Bowl. So I feel like he's the top guy right now. That's just my opinion. You guys can let me know what you think. BLSG, what's up, bro? This is a guy, I actually did a collab with him a couple of years ago. I think we did like a Sixers live stream together. But I appreciate you consistently watching these videos, man. Hope you're doing good. Hope you're happy about the Eagles winning the Super Bowl. I'm sure you are, but let's see here. We have Saquon. I think it's different to 2023. We couldn't run the ball as much when we had Swift. Yeah, I definitely agree with that. Obviously, Saquon takes the offense to the next level, as we saw this season. I thought DeAndre Swift was actually really good for us, and I wondered why they didn't run him more. And even early in this season, I would say like you could see the difference from obviously those first 4 weeks before the bye week, before things changed, in how much they ran the football. Because I feel like they definitely had more of an emphasis on passing the football during those first 4 games, and then the past ever since the bye week, obviously they placed more of an emphasis on running the ball. But let's see here. Any other comments? All right, let's so we talked about Kevin Patullo. Obviously, I think, like I said, there's pros and cons to that move. I think our offense is going to be just fine. And tomorrow I'm going to have a video where I'll break this down a little bit more coherently, a little bit more in depth, and some more of this stuff too. But let's get into some more news from today. Let's go here. Hold on. Bear with me, guys. So we got some news. And not really news from today, but it's am I in the right thing? Yeah, I am. So this officially happened today, I guess. But we already knew this was going on. So Saints expected to hire Eagles Doug Nussmeier as offensive coordinator. We talked about that like 2 or 3 days ago. But yeah, New Orleans Saints are expected to hire Doug Nussmeier as their new offensive coordinator. A league source confirmed to ESPN. No surprise there. I don't really need to talk too much about that just because we already knew that's what was going to happen. But what that does mean is right now, obviously, we got a new offensive coordinator. We actually got our new passing game coordinator as well in Parks Frazier, who I'm going to talk about him a little bit more tomorrow in my video. But he's a guy, he spent a lot of time under Frank Reich in both Indy and also in Carolina. And he ended up being the interim offensive coordinator and play caller for the Colts in 2022 after Frank Reich was fired midseason. And then he also spent time with Mike McDaniel and in Miami this past season. So I think that's definitely good. And I think, one of the other things with Patullo that I actually forgot to mention is that I think Berman reported that the offense is expected to stay the same, both scheme-wise and terminology-wise, as it was this season with Kellen Moore. So it's not like we're going to have a drastically different offense next year. And that should mean that, you still have the things like motion and, plays under center. And now with Parks Frazier coming in, right, he's a guy that spent time, like I said, under Mike McDaniel in Miami. That should only further solidify that the motion in the Eagles offense should not be going anywhere next year, which is definitely a great thing. But what was I talking about? I was talking about we now have a open QB coach spot to fill. So Anthony DeBona, shout out to him, actually wrote an article today talking about potential candidates to fill that role with Doug Nussmeier going to the Saints. So, there's definitely some names. The main guy that I've seen that obviously is number one here on his article is Frank Reich. says here, Reich is no stranger to the city of brotherly love. Obviously, he was the Eagles' offensive coordinator for 2 seasons here and helped them win Super Bowl 52. Reich has a wealth of experience as both an NFL coach and NFL player. He also worked for several seasons with Sirianni, Patullo, Frazier, and other Eagles coaches. Now, obviously, he's been out of football for a couple seasons, or for I think a season and a half now, because he was let go mid-season with Carolina in 2023. But there's definitely reason to think that he could come in here and be the quarterback's coach. And then you got guys like Mike McCoy, who's a former head coach and has also worked with Nick Sirianni. Luke Getsy says here he's a 41-year-old PA native that already has 10 years of NFL coaching experience. One thing about the quarterback coach position, and really any coaching position that I would like, if we have to fill it, is just to get a guy that has experience, because obviously in 2023, we saw how getting all these unexperienced guys really did not work out well. You got Kerry Joseph, who was a standout quarterback in the CFL, spent 4 seasons with the Seahawks, helped Geno Smith revive his career, helped develop Caleb Williams last year, although, I mean, it wasn't like he was great or anything, but still it's an option. Alex Van Pelt, T.C. McCartney. I'm not going to act like I know who all these guys are. I'm really not. I think Frank Reich's definitely the guy that I would want, but I'm curious to know what you guys think. Birdie says, I do think we should have at least considered Reich as OC. I agree. I mean, I would have liked to see that, especially since obviously we saw all the success, in 2017 with him as offensive coordinator winning the Super Bowl. But, I understand the Patullo hire. I'm not going to be mad at it. So we'll see what happens. I'm curious to see how it works out for sure. Gavin Davis says, I'd like us to trade for Walker. I kind of forgot about him. I do think we don't have to give up much for him. Who are you talking about? Walker, like Trayvon Walker from the Jaguars? Is that what you're talking about? Oh, Trayvon Walker here. Yeah, that's what you guys are talking about. Potentially trading for Trayvon Walker. I personally would love to see it happen since he's 24. I don't know. What is his contract? I think he was drafted 2022, so this would be the last year of his rookie contract that he's going into. That'd be interesting if the Jaguars don't want to give him an extension. I definitely would not be opposed to that at all. I think I talked about that probably last offseason. Anyone but Getsy after the Raiders. See, I wasn't even paying attention to what was happening. But Amen asks, should we bring back Isaiah Rodgers? Personally, I think we should. There's obviously a lot of free agents we got to worry about, and you don't know what's going to happen with Darius Slay, which we're going to talk about that in a minute. But I think he was great. He came in when Darius Slay was out with injuries. He played well. He stepped up. He made plays. I mean, in the playoffs, you have him returning a fumble almost to the end zone. So I think that was good. Birdie says if Steichen gets fired mid-season, I think we should bring him in as an advisor or something. Definitely, I agree with you. I think Steichen was great when he was here, obviously. But we'll see how things go with the Colts this year. What else do we have to talk about? We've BLSG says I try to be consistent in watching the content. I know you have, bro. I appreciate you. Fly Eagles fly. Yes, sir. Go Birds. Everyone who's in here, hit the like button. We got 50 people, so let's see if we can get to 50 likes. Again, I appreciate each and every one of you guys for watching this. Hopefully we can make streaming a more regular thing here on the channel. So what else we got to talk about? Okay, so there's actually some news today that I did want to talk about just for a second. Let's see if I can get it on the screen. All right, so Cam Jurgens today, it was actually reported by Adam Schefter that he got back surgery. So Schefter said Eagles Pro Bowl center Cam Jurgens underwent a back procedure Tuesday in LA with Dr. Robert Watkins to alleviate nerve pain. Per sources, doctors believe a full recovery is expected by July in time for training camp. Jurgens is headed into the final season of his rookie contract. So, that's definitely notable. It's not like it's any reason to panic or really that surprising at all, because obviously he was playing through a good amount of pain during the Super Bowl and even the NFC Championship, obviously, when he came in there in the second half. So shout out to him for that. But Jurgens is a guy who might get extended this offseason. I think they need to extend him personally. I think, out of all the guys that you can extend that are on rookie contracts, being him, Jordan Davis, and Nakobe Dean, he's the one that I would want to get done the most, just because obviously, that's your Jason Kelce replacement. He was a great center this year. So you got to get that done. But the good news is, in terms of the surgery and the injury, he's going to be ready to go for training camp. So that's definitely good. Gavin Davis says, if we don't bring back Zack Baun, I would trade for Walker. I mean, they play different positions, though. So, but I guess it may be a money thing. I don't know. Eamon says, I think we should cut Slay and Bradbury and make Ringo start. So that's another thing. I'm going to definitely get into the Slay thing in a minute. But I have seen a lot of people say that, and I understand why that'd be a good move for the Eagles, because obviously Ringo's a good player. Like when he played in 2023, I think he was really good. It's just, obviously there's only so much room. Thing is, I love Slay. Slay's a great player. He played awesome this year, and if he wants to come back for one more year, assuming they can make the money work, I would love for them to do that. So we'll see. Again, we're going to talk about that in a minute. Birdie says, when is Lanning getting surgery on his knee? I actually haven't seen an update on that. So if you guys have any info that you've seen that I missed, you can let me know. He says Jurgens deserves an extension for sure, 100%. Gavin Davis says Ringo is young. I like him, but I think cut Bradbury, but keep Slay. Let Ringo learn, especially if we don't bring Rodgers back. Yeah, that's a good point. But also at the same time, when it comes to Keely Ringo, you can only have him sit for so long, right? Like if you want him to be a full-time starter, it's like you're going to sit him this year with Slay, and then Slay will retire, and then say Ringo starts the next year. That's going to be the last year of his rookie contract. So it's like a make or break year for him. I guess you could do that, but it'd be interesting. He said he had a key pick in the Giants game on Christmas. He did. In the one game that we won during the collapse of 2023, yeah, he had that pick that was crucial. I think that ended the game. Savage says, who is your favorite player? Mine's A.J. Brown. That's a great question, and honestly, I don't even think I know the answer to it. My favorite player of all time is Jason Kelce. Favorite current player? That's a great question. Mine, it might be A.J. Brown. Like you. Just like you, it might be A.J. Brown, but I don't know. I mean, there's a lot of guys that I really like. I mean, I just like AJ's, obviously he's a great player, but I like his leadership. I like his mentality. I like the stuff he stands for. I like all of it. So I think he's a great teammate. I love Jalen too, though, and I love Saquon, Devontae Smith. I love Devontae Smith too. He's freaking hilarious. Oh man, Brandon Graham too is up there for sure, just because he's been here for so long. Let's see, what else can we talk about here? Again, all you guys in here, hit the like button. Greatly would appreciate it. Man, 48 of you guys. Hopefully we can, again, make this more of a regular thing, because I'm having a good time. This is fun. Hopefully we get more actual stuff to talk about sometimes when I go live, because that'd be good too. Aaron's World says, who would you re-sign? I'd keep Baun, Becton, and Gainwell. Okay, you know what? Let's get into this right now, because I am going to talk about the free agency stuff. Obviously, the title of this stream is the Eagles have some huge decisions to make. So let's talk about this. So we got some news on all the Eagles free agents recently, which I'm going to talk about more in my video tomorrow. But here we go. So Bleeding Green Nation put together this article where they're talking about all the free agents. Alex Chasson, shout out to him. But he put together this article talking about all the Eagles free agents. So let's actually start with Darius Slay, who's not a free agent, but obviously he's going into the last year of his contract. That cap hit, that's $13 million. It's not the best. So, it looks like the Eagles are either going to cut him or completely just restructure the contract, sign him to a new deal that lowers the cap hit so he can stay in Philly for one more year and then retire, or he's just going to go. So we'll see. But it says here, heading to the NFC Championship game, Darius Slay was taking it all in just in case that was his final game in Philly as an Eagle, but his uncertainty doesn't mean that he's looking for a way out. Slay went on the St. Brown podcast and said that he'd prefer to re-sign with the Eagles, but did also limit his interest next season to Philly or Detroit. So he said, quote, whatever they want to do, I might re-sign back, hopefully. If not, we'll see what they're doing. The two spots I would always love to be at is either Philly or Detroit. Those two is where I'd rather be at. So, yeah, again, obviously, I want to keep Slay around personally. Like, if you can find a way to restructure that contract, not have the cap hit be super, super high, and just bring him back for next season, I would love that, because I think Slay's a great player. Like, he obviously had a great season. He was a big reason why our secondary was so great. You know, the Eagles for forever. Like, this is the thing about Darius Slay that I feel like doesn't get talked about. But for such a long time, the Eagles could not find like a lockdown cornerback. Like, think about what we do as a fan base to where we like, I feel like we like romanticize, like that's a weird word, but romanticize about like Jalen Mills. Like, we gas him up and act like he was so great. He was solid. He had some good moments as an Eagle. He had some solid seasons. And I definitely like Jalen Mills, but he wasn't great or anything. And he always would get cooked on the double move. You know, we had guys like that. We're talking about guys like that, like they were some like great player. You know, that's where we were at the cornerback position for such a long time. And then Darius Slay came in here and was just absolutely amazing for the secondary and for the defense. He obviously became a captain in 2022. He's been a great leader in the locker room. You know, some Eagles fans have got on him for posting certain things or going on certain podcasts. But, you know, I personally love Darius Slay. I'm very grateful for what he's done for this team. And I hope we can find a way to keep him in Philly just for this last year and then he can retire, because I think that'd be great. But at the same time, I understand the whole thing with Ringo. You want to try and, you know, get Ringo on the field if you can, because he is a good young player and you drafted him to play most likely, even though you got him in the 4th round. He had a 2nd round, maybe even first round grade in that draft, and he fell all the way to the 4th round. So, you know, you want to get him on the field, but I don't know. I like Darius Slay, and if he wants to come back for one more year and they can find a way to, you know, get a deal done that's cheap enough, doesn't hurt the cap too much, and Slay's good with it, I'd love that. If he goes to the Lions, that would suck because, again, Slay's super, super good, and the Lions are one of our biggest competitors in the NFC, so that would not be a good thing. Now, do I think that he locked down A.J. Brown or Devontae Smith? No, because they've practiced against each other every day for years, so, you know, they would be able to beat him, and no one can really stop either of them. It's just like, I would so much rather him stay here. Powerline says, hi, Evan, do you think that Darius will leave, and what are your thoughts about BG's retirement? Also, I've been wondering, do you think the Eagles should draft a tight end because Dallas is always out? That's good questions. Just talked about the Darius Slay thing. I want him to stay. I don't know what's going to happen. He definitely wants to stay, but how bad does he want to stay? You know, like, what kind of contract are you willing to take there? Because we can't pay everybody huge money. BG's retirement, honestly, that's just up in the air. Like, I don't really have a ton to say about that. I hope he comes back. If he doesn't, you know, that's fine, and I wish him the best. By the way, if you guys want to get my 55 Legend T-shirt, you can go down in the comment, not the comments, my description, and there should be a link that you can get 20% off. So check that out if you're interested. But BG's retirement, we'll just have to wait and see. I hope he comes back, but again, we don't know. And then for drafting a tight end, I have heard that. So like, I don't really start looking at the prospects in the draft until probably like March, April. So I don't really know too much about all the prospects that are available, but I have heard that this tight end class is really, really good, especially the guy from Penn State, really good player. So possibly, the thing is, Dallas Goedert's great. Like, Dallas Goedert is a great tight end, one of the best in the league when he's healthy. It's just, you know, he's 29. I think he's 29 years old, about to turn 30. And like you said, he's always out. He's always hurt. So I don't know. Maybe moving on would be a good idea, but we'll have to see. I think maybe we draft a tight end. I would definitely like to see us draft a tight end at some point this year and then have him learn behind Goddard for a year or two. I actually think what might happen is they could restructure Goddard's contract a little bit to maybe like a shorter deal. Like, it's not, he doesn't have I think he's got like maybe 1 or 2 years left anyways. But you restructure that contract, that lowers the cap hit for this year. And then maybe during that time, you could draft a tight end now, have him learn behind Goddard, and then in a couple of years, Goddard can walk and go somewhere else, and then this guy can step up. But we'll see. Let's see. Let's go to some of the other guys, the other free agents, some of the actual free agents. You got Mekhi Becton. So all this stuff I want to talk about more in my video tomorrow. But it says here, it's no secret that coming to Philly to play for Jeff Stoutland changed the career trajectory for offensive lineman Mekhi Becton. And while he's certainly looking for a raise and some stability with his next contract, it looks like staying with the Eagles might be a priority. So Adam Schefter yesterday was on 97.5 The Fanatic, and he talked about all the Eagles free agents. So again, I'm going to talk about all this in my video tomorrow more in depth, but he He said, quote, Mekhi Becton found a home in Philadelphia, and he chose to go to Philadelphia in large part because he believed that Jeff Stoutland would help rebuild his career, and that's exactly what happened. Now he can go out and seek greener pastures elsewhere, or he and the Eagles could. Sorry, let me see if I can get this. Stop, present, share screen, boom. This one, share. Yes. Awesome. All right. Where he and the Eagles could work out a fair deal where he could continue to thrive. So I think Mekhi Becton is going to be inclined to stay. So, I mean, this is kind of like what we thought, I think. Mekhi Becton's a guy who obviously has a ton of love for Philly. And obviously he came here and completely revived his career. So, I think if I were him personally, like, you just went through all that crap with the Jets for so long. You were labeled a huge draft bust. You went through all these injuries. You couldn't really find your footing there. And then you come to Philadelphia. You got the best offensive line in the league. You got the best offensive line coach in the league, possibly the best offensive line coach ever. I mean, Jeff Stoutland's freaking unbelievable. So, I would take all that into account. Like, for someone who's been through all that garbage and then you come somewhere else and you just completely transforms your career and transforms your life. Personally, I would want to stay in that place. So I feel like he's pretty likely to stay, assuming we can get something done. I don't think he's going to be super expensive either from what I saw. So I'm definitely thinking that Mekhi Becton is trending towards coming back, which is awesome because if you think about it, if we get a deal done with him and then you also extend Cam Jurgens, right? So then you got Mailata, Landon Dickerson, Jurgens, Becton, and Lane Johnson all under contract for at least a couple more seasons because Lane, I'm sure, is going to restructure and then come back. I don't know exactly what his contract looks like. I think he's got 1 or 2 more years left. I'll probably talk about that a little bit later. But, he said he wants to play a few more years. You're going to have this whole offensive line together for probably at least 2 more seasons, maybe 1 or 2 more seasons. That's amazing. I mean, you got Saquon Barkley. We're going to continue to have a dominant run game for years, and it's amazing. I feel like we need to be really grateful right now. But moving on. Well, actually, hold up. Carlos Rosada, appreciate you, bro, because you're a consistent supporter of the channel too. You say, keep up the great work, young man. I've been watching your videos for some years now. I appreciate you, bro. I know you've been keeping up with the content for a while. I feel like you've been here at least 2 years, but yeah, I appreciate you, man. But let's see here. Let's talk about some of the other free agents that we got. Sorry, guys. Present this one, and there we go. That good? That's good. Okay. So then Zack Baun. This is obviously Zack Baun is the #1 priority. The guy just had possibly the best season we have ever seen from an Eagles linebacker. What he did this year was historic. He just had the best linebacker season since 2015 Luke Kuechly when he won Defensive Player of the Year. So it says here, the special team returned all-pro linebacker is still considered a top target for the Eagles this offseason, especially now with that salary cap for 2025 having been announced with a notable bump from 2024. So yesterday I talked about that. If you want to watch that video, check that out in a little bit. But it says Baun has been effusive in his appreciation for Philly and wanting to stay, but it's going to be whether Roseman can offer something comparable. He can, and he likely will. So Schefter on the Fanatic said, quote, Zack Baun's a guy I would think that they're going to work to re-sign and bring back because they saw how valuable he is. And the question is there a team out there that's going to pay him considerably more than the Eagles are willing to? So, again, definitely seems like Zack Baun is trending towards coming back, which is great news. Excuse me. But, yeah, that's like the #1 priority. If we could get Zack Baun back and none of the other 3 come back, neither Becton, Sweat, or Milt come back, I'd be fine. I honestly would be okay because, Baun's that good, and I feel like, we're fortunate to have this amazing core of players together for the foreseeable future, all extended. And if you can add Baun to that, and that's just incredible. And obviously Vic Fangio values him very highly. He's what's like a cornerstone of that defense. Huge reason why they were so successful this season. So I feel like you've got to do whatever it takes to bring him back. And Schefter said it there. They saw how valuable he is. The question is there another team that is going to pay him some bigger contract? that the Eagles just simply can't afford. All that said, though, I just froze on my screen. I hope you guys are good. We good? Okay. All that said, though, Baun's 28 and he's going to turn 29 in December. So you got to think about that because a lot of the top paid inside linebackers in the league, like Roquan Smith, Fred Warner, all these guys, they got paid these huge contracts when they're like 24, 25, 26 years old. And then a lot of the older guys who are still very good linebackers, they're not getting paid nearly that much money. So I feel like you could get Baun for a pretty good price. And also he wants to stay here and he's made that clear. So I feel like there's a good shot that he comes back. Definitely hoping for that. So Powerline says, rather than drafting, even though drafting will be better than free agency, do you think we should sign some cheap tight ends, but not sure because this class is really good? I think we should draft a tight end personally. I mean, I feel like we've signed some cheap tight ends over the years, but none of them really do anything. I mean, CJ Uzama was a good example this year. Like he was a cheap tight end. He played a little bit. He was, solid backup blocking tight end, but didn't really do much. So I don't know. Birdie says Howie would pay out of his own pocket to keep on. Yeah, I mean, we got to find a way to keep that guy around. He's too good. You can't just let guys like that. They don't come around super often. Like we got to find a way to bring him back. Connie Angel says, as usual, every NFL will react the same way how Eagles managed to pull trades and draft picks, like always. Oh yeah, like we're gonna do some crazy stuff this year, and everyone's gonna be like, "Oh my gosh, Howie Roseman did it again." So I'm looking forward to that. I'm going to be covering it all. So if you guys don't want to miss any of that, make sure you subscribe. And if you haven't already, turn on notifications so you don't miss any videos. Let's get to the next free agent, though, which is going to be, both Josh Sweat and Milton Williams. So these are the two guys, obviously, it looks like they're going to get paid some big money. And they're more likely that the Eagles are just going to, not be able to bring these guys back. It says here, Roseman is a bit of a mastermind, but it's still unlikely he finds a way to pay every player who deserves it, which is why Sweat and Williams are considered likely to move on this offseason. As I've talked about before, Josh Sweat hired a new agent before the Super Bowl, and then he eventually called it the biggest moment of his life, this coming free agency. So, that's a guy to me that definitely wants to get a huge pay raise. And then you got Milton Williams, who made it clear, like he wants to pay boost too. Obviously, he's been on his rookie contract being a third-round pick, so he hasn't been making that much money anyways, but it seems like he's going to try and get as much as possible too. 97.5 The Fanatic, Adam Schefter was on there again, and it said about both these guys, he said, quote, Milton Williams sounds like a guy that's going to get paid, sounds like a guy that's going to leave. Josh Sweat sounds like a guy that's going to get paid and going to leave. So there you go. I mean, pretty much what I just said. Again, Eagles can't pay everybody. It seems like both of these guys are probably going to be gone, which sucks because, they're great. Both of these guys. Joyce Gilmore. I appreciate you being in here for sure. What's up? Nice chat. See you soon. I will see you. I'll see you Saturday. Tomorrow. No, today's Thursday. Yeah, a couple days. All right. I'll see you then. I appreciate you being in here too. That's my aunt, guys. But what was I talking about? Sweat, Milton Williams, likely to go. So I don't know. What are your guys' thoughts on free agency? Let's get some comments going. I want to hear your guys' thoughts because it's really part of the reason I wanted to stream today. Part of that because I'll be honest, I'm freaking exhausted from this season. I got to find a way to shorten the length of making these videos because they take a long time and I'm freaking tired. So I want to do this live stream. Doing this, I think will be good, but let's hear you guys' thoughts on the free agents. Gavin Davis says Sweat is good, but I just don't think we can afford Sweat and Milton Williams. Yeah. It sucks because they were so great, especially in the Super Bowl. We were talking for forever about Milton Williams is this underrated guy. And, he's like the sneaky breakout player for the Eagles, and he finally did it this year. But it's only going to last one season. He's probably going to be gone. And then, they both were great in the Super Bowl. Sweat had, 2.5 sacks, could have been Super Bowl MVP. Milt had the strip sack at the end of the game, and he had, I think, 2 total sacks. So that definitely sucks, but I just think, it's the unfortunate reality of what happens in the NFL. Both of those guys we're not going to be able to afford. They're probably going to go. But the good news, again, is it sounds like we're going to be able to keep on. Sounds like we're going to be able to keep Mekhi Becton. So positives for sure. Brady says Milton was a menace for he definitely was. So if you guys didn't see it, I talked about this in my video, but literally during the team's exit interviews, this guy, Milton Williams, showed up in a Clutch Sports hoodie. Like, I mean, that's, if you guys don't know, I'm not going to explain it, but if you know, you know. Like, that's, he's going to go. He's going to go somewhere else. He's going to sign some big contract somewhere. Gavin Davis says we should sign Javon Holland. Personally, I want no part of that. And I don't think the Eagles want any part of that either. Number one, we got two great safeties. Excuse me. Let me get a drink of water because talking nonstop now for 42 minutes. I need to just give me a second. But I don't want any part of Javon Holland because he's the guy that when Vic Fangio got let go by Miami, he was like posting a video like kicking rocks, like, oh, kick rocks, Vic Fangio. And those Miami players, when they were with him, they just seemed to be a little too soft. They didn't like the hard coaching that he brought. They didn't want to be great like our Eagles did this year. Like our Eagles took the hard coaching, they bought into the scheme, all that. And obviously you saw what happened. We had the best defense in the league, one of the best defenses I've ever seen. But then, just last year in Miami before, Vic Fangio's defense wasn't that great. And it's because those guys, they didn't want to buy in as much. They didn't want to work as hard. So I don't want any part of Javon Holland. That's just my opinion. Garrett or bust. I don't think there's or bust anything. We just won the Super Bowl. But Myles Garrett obviously would take this defensive line to a whole nother level. Again, talked about that in my video yesterday. So if you want to check that out, you can. But I think, him and Jalen Carter on the same defensive line is just ridiculous. Like quarterbacks are going to have nightmares for days in advance before they play that Eagles defense. But we'll see. I mean, I feel like there's a lot of edge rushers that are going to hit free agency, some good options. There's also some guys in the draft that we're going to talk about in the next couple of months. Obviously, like I said, I don't really do a lot of the research on the prospects until, I guess, the combine too, I guess, because last year I covered that. Someone covered that this year. That's next week, by the way. So be on the lookout for some stuff covering that. But I don't know. There's a lot of other ways that the Eagles could get an edge rusher besides giving up 2 first-round picks for Myles Garrett. That said, if they get Myles Garrett, I am definitely not going to complain at all. So, I mean, we'll see. Aaron says, I kind of want Milton back. So do I, but it sucks. It just is what it is. I don't think it's going to happen. What's up, Football Edits? How you doing, man? Says Milton got a strip sack on the GOAT. I'm not calling Mahomes the GOAT. Tom Brady is the GOAT for sure. But he did one of the best quarterbacks of all time for sure, Mahomes is. So definitely deserves credit for that. I still think we should keep an eye out for Evan Neal. That's an interesting one. I don't know. What's our – I'm trying to think about what our offensive line looks like. We got Fred – I don't know is Fred Johnson a free agent or is he – I feel like I should know this. Like I'm the one that makes these videos. But is Fred Johnson a free agent? Because I feel like we have some decent tackle depth. But I don't know. That'd be an interesting one for sure. Is he even – I don't know what his contract even looks like. I'm not going to lie. Like I feel like my football knowledge overall, honestly, like throughout the league, my NFL knowledge, I'll say, I feel like has gone down the past couple of years since I've been making these videos because I'm so dialed into everything the Eagles are doing that I don't have nearly as much time to focus on what's going on around the rest of the league. Like every Sunday that we play, right, I watch the game, I take my notes, and then immediately after the game, I'm up here, listening to press conferences, putting notes down, writing my script, and then making this video. So, I don't have time to watch all those games, so I feel like my NFL knowledge is going down. See, I just do research, and then I know things. So that's why I'm able to give some good information in the videos. It's all out there, guys. You just got to know where to find it. He says, thank you all for all your effort and hard work all year long. 41 years old, and this is the best Eagles team 2024 that I've ever seen. Appreciate you watching all year long, bro. I've seen you commenting consistently, so again, I appreciate it. crazy to me that all you guys just tune in from all over the place. Like there's some guy, I don't know what, I forget his username, but shout out to him. I went to St. Augustine. I know this is random, but I went to St. Augustine last summer for vacation. I was making videos from down there, and there's a guy from St. Augustine like now commenting like, "Hey, next time you're down here, I'll take you out to dinner." Like that's cool, bro. That's weird to me. But again, I appreciate all you guys. Eagle says if we can re-sign Baun and Becton, we're okay, and hopefully we can find a way to re-sign Milton Williams. I think what's going to happen is we're going to re-sign Baun, we're going to re-sign Becton, and then Milt and Sweat are going to go. And then we'll see what happens with the rest of the guys. I mean, I'm not exactly sure. Let's just hang out in here let's give it a little more than 10 minutes, get to over an hour on the stream, and then we'll get up out of here. But again, all you guys, I appreciate you so much for being in here. If you haven't already, hit the like button. We're going to be trying to do more of these. So hopefully, we can get better at it. I want to get better equipment because I know you guys, I feel bad because this like, what am I talking about? The quality of this kind of sucks. I know that because I don't know what I'm doing. So we'll figure it out. But Powerline says, like I saw in your video, do you think Patullo will keep the Eagles offense a step back? And do you think Jalen will take a step back with the new coach and coordinator? But I think he'll still be top 10. I think there's a reason to be a little concerned with Patullo just because he's never called plays like I talked about earlier in the stream. But at the same time, there's a lot of things to like. He's been here the whole time. He's been a huge part of the offense. And also, something that I didn't mention is that he's been a part of the play calling process on game days and leading up to game days. All 4 years he's been here, and also at times he's called plays in practice as well. So it seems like they were kind of training him for this role. So we'll see. I'm not sure yet. I hope it doesn't bring this Eagles offense a step back. I definitely think, there's a chance that it could. But again, I'm not going to judge anything until I see it. And I think we'll end up being just fine with but my goodness, I think we will be just fine with Kevin Patullo as the offensive coordinator is what I'm trying to say. But Powerline says also not hating, but rather than spending that much money on Miles, they should just re-sign players because Miles is 30 and he's very expensive. But we do have a cap room, but I don't think it's worth it. Yes, it's like give and take. So if we get Myles Garrett again, I'm not going to be upset because that's going to take our defensive line to the next level, just like I think Saquon, took the offense to the next level this season. I feel like we could see a similar thing with Myles Garrett, but he would be super expensive, and you'd have to give up draft capital to get him versus maybe, I'm not saying re-signing guys, but you could draft somebody. You could find some other guys who'd be a little bit cheaper in free agency. It says Fred Johnson is a free agent. Okay, so then Evan Neal, that would make a little bit more sense. Is he a free agent too? I don't know. I have to look into all this stuff once we get closer to free agency. But I would like to keep, if we can, Fred Johnson because he was great this year when he filled in. I think he was awesome. Gavin Davis says we should trade for Joey Bosa. That is something else that I don't think I'm a huge fan of just because he cannot stay healthy and he's on the older side. And I just don't know if he'd fit in great with the culture in the Eagles locker room and Vic Fangio and all that. So I don't know. I don't think I'd like that too much. But if it happened, he's not a bad player. I don't think, but it's just like I wouldn't be a huge fan of that. Big Dog Nolan Smith is in. There's so many jerseys that I want to get. Nolan Smith's one of them. He's awesome. He's great. The amount of he got so much better throughout this whole season, so quickly. It was amazing to watch. Say Philly fan, I'd love to see more shorts if you have a chance to post them. I used to do shorts all the time. The thing about shorts, I'm sure you guys don't care. I'll keep this quick. I want to do them, but at the same time, the more of those that I post, the more my audience just becomes people watching shorts, and then those people don't watch the long videos, and then that becomes a whole thing. Because obviously, the long videos, they make you more money. So I kind of need to do that because this is my job. But I would love to make more shorts. It's just, I don't know. It's hard to find the time to do it too because I'm trying to make more long videos so I can maximize income, But so we should sign Chase Young. I like Chase Young when he's healthy. First time, he would be good with with the defense. I don't know. I feel like we need to get one edge rusher. Cooper. Bro, what's up? This is my cousin right here, guys. Bro. So you're doing pretty well, especially since you don't have a lot of streaming experience. I appreciate that. I will get better, but yeah, definitely. I've streamed like off and on for years. Like I streamed once like 4 months ago and then just haven't done it since. So again, hopefully I get better. Khalil Mack, that'd be an interesting one for sure. I mean, he's great. He's a free agent too, right? I believe he is. Let me check. I believe he is. Khalil Mack contract. I know you guys can't see this, but I'm just checking for myself. Yeah, unrestricted free agent. So that would be an interesting one. I wouldn't mind that as much as the Bosa thing. Aaron says, Reed Blankenship is crazy underrated. Also, the shorts thing I get. Yeah, dude, Reed Blankenship is a guy who I feel like doesn't get very much appreciation or love at all, but he's been so good. Like, I mean, he was undrafted in 2022, and he just quickly became one of the most consistent players on the Eagles defense. Like, he's a good player. He's a good player, and it's great. He's a guy, I think he's got 1 year left on his contract, so I definitely love to see them bring him back for longer for sure, because he's good. This is the thing about, like, when you want to talk about getting guys like Myles Garrett or like some of these big name guys, or like signing, for example, a Josh Sweat or Milton Williams to a big contract, you also got to remember that we got our own guys to extend too. Like Jalen Hurts' contract has to get restructured soon. You know, Cam Jurgens, like I said, Reed Blankenship's another one, Nakobe Dean, Jordan Davis, if you want to bring those guys back. Like, there's a lot of people that are due contract extensions soon. And then even in the future after that, like Jalen Carter, for example, you have to pay him. You obviously can't let him go. So it'll be interesting. Yo, MG Raps with a $5 donation. I appreciate you so much. So I tuned into your channel this season. Great work. Keep it up, bro. I appreciate you. All you guys that watch these videos, I appreciate you. But you guys, I mean, I appreciate the $5 donation for sure. Keep that up here. You guys are awesome. You guys are the reason I get to do this. You guys and God as well, obviously. But God's first. But you guys are amazing. Eagles. It says, I remember your stream when CJ Gardner-Johnson got traded to the Lions, and your reaction was really fun to listen to. But it's even better he came back to feel like, dude, that was a day. Because I remember, like, that was a period of time where I was actually kind of streaming a little bit consistently. And I had, like, went on there to talk about just some random stuff, like Miles Sanders going to the Panthers and, like, all this stuff. And then in the middle of me streaming, CJ Gardner-Johnson decides to sign with the Lions. And I remember freaking out because it was, like, 1 year, $8 million. I was like, $8 million, what? Because we all thought he was going to get so much more than that. But man, that was a fun stream. It wasn't a fun stream because he left, but I mean, it was at least fun to be on stream when that happened. But glad he's back though. I think he's the heartbeat of the defense. I think, you know, the energy he brings is super valuable. Cooper DeJean is not a safety for sure. That's so, bro. 37 people still left in here. I appreciate all you guys for sticking with me this long. We're going to stay in here for a couple more minutes and then probably go. I don't got too much more to talk about. This is the thing about the offseason is you got limited number of things to talk about, but I'm still going to be bringing you guys coverage. I'm going to do a video tomorrow. Probably will take the weekend off, and then we'll be back at it again Monday, doing stuff every day during the week. So make sure you guys, again, subscribe, turn on notifications so you don't miss any of that. Also, drop a like on this stream because it really does help me out a ton. Mike, feel like I'm doing my read for the videos. But Gavin Davis says if we don't bring back Milt, then maybe add some extra mass on the defensive line and add BJ Hill from the Bengals. That'd be interesting. Didn't everyone forget that CJ Gardner-Johnson took revenge against the Chiefs when he was with the Lions? He did, and then he came back to our team, took revenge on him again in the Super Bowl. So that was great. What do you think will happen if we get Becton, Baun, Wilson? I think you mean Williams, and any other. I don't know what that. Maybe you mean free agents. I don't know what that last word is. But I don't know. It'd be great. But then again, I mean, we don't have we can't pay everybody, like I said, and you also want to be able to bring in other guys to different positions. And again, you got to be able to extend your guys that you have here too. So I think you get back Baun and Becton, and then Williams and my gosh, Williams and Sweat might just be gone. You're good. You said autocorrect is killing you. You're fine. You're all good. BLSG says, have you even watched the Sixers at all this season? Just curious. Yeah, man, I have. And it's like, I don't know. It's just painful. Like, it's not fun. I just watch it. My favorite player right now to watch is Gershon Yabusele. He's been great. I would love to talk about the Sixers on here. I just can't. Like, the algorithm doesn't work that way. But it's fun. I mean, it's not fun, but it's fun. They play tonight right against the Celtics, so we're going to get destroyed. Actually, what they're going to do is they're going to win, and then I think they play the Nets after this, and they're going to lose that game because that's just how we get on Sixers. But getting back to the Eagles, Birdie says, how about re-signing Oren Burks? Definitely, I think that'd be a great move. Because, I mean, he was a great depth linebacker for us this year, and then when Nakobe Dean went down, he was fantastic, especially in the Rams game. In the Super Bowl, he was awesome, and against the Commanders too. Like all of those, he had the forced fumble in the Commanders game. So, I mean, he stepped up big time, and I think he definitely deserves a contract extension. I'd love to bring him back for sure. Powerline says, do you think we should get some depth at strong safety or free safety? Because if Darius leaves, Cooper DeJean will probably get moved down. I don't think I think Coop's going to stay in the slot. I mean, we saw how impactful he was in that position anyway, and I think he should stay there because he was great. Like, I don't want to mess with something that worked well. I just don't think that'd be the smartest thing to do. Depth. I mean, let's think about what we have at the safety position right now. Like, we got Reed and CJ. Obviously, you got Sidney Brown, who I personally am really high on him, and I think he could be a really good player. And who else do we got? We got, bro. You guys don't want to know who just popped into my head. That's obviously not on the team anymore. Tristan McCollum, obviously. I don't know. We got some interesting options. We got Andre Sam, who was a undrafted free agent, I think, last year. So. I don't know. I mean, maybe we could bring in a guy, but I like Sidney Brown. I think he deserves a chance to play a role. Aaron's World says, greatest hour ever. I appreciate you, bro. We'll try and do more of these. I know it's not the typical thing, and I'm part of my goal because, like, I'm trying to get better recording videos too. So hopefully me talking on here will help me be better talking in videos, make that process go a little bit faster, get more of those out to you guys. But, yeah, this would be good. And like during the season, I want to be able to do these as well. It didn't happen this year, but maybe I got to get better equipment and stuff. But Philly Collector says, watching you since you started though, love your content. Watch you every day during, bro. That's crazy to me that you guys like legitimately sit down, open up your phone, and watch me talk about the Eagles. It's just crazy, but I appreciate you guys. Gavin Davis, you've been around a while too, bro. I appreciate you. He says your best reaction was when Hargrave signed with the Niners. I remember screaming over that one for sure. That was a 5-hour stream. I may not stream that often, but that was a day. But this is a good question. Christian Gonzalez says, for opening night game, who would you want to play in the first game? What team? I don't know. I think the options, it's like, obviously you got the divisional opponents, Cowboys, Giants, and Commanders, which I feel like it's probably not going to be one of those teams. And then it's the Bears, I think, the Lions, and I forget what other team it is. But I don't know. The Lions would be interesting, I think. I think the Rams actually too. But yeah, the Lions would be interesting, but I feel like the NFL might save that game for a little bit later just because that'll be like a big prime time, like, towards the end of the season, both teams are fighting for playoff positioning, so they'll put that there. I would like to see that. I mean, actually, no, I don't want to see that game opening night because I want to see both those teams against each other when both of them are already like established and they know what they're doing and all that. But yeah, I mean, Birdie says Fangio doesn't like to move guys around. Yeah, I mean, I think he just puts the best player available at the position. Like he just, doesn't matter who it is, doesn't matter if they're a young player, veteran, whatever. I mean, Coop, I think you're talking about the Coop thing. I think Coop should stay at nickel because he was great there. Powerline says, thanks for the Philly content. I wouldn't know anything about the Eagles without you. You give me all info. I've been watching for 3 years. This is the content. Keep it up. We'll watch all your content through. I appreciate that, bro. I can't believe, like, to all you guys that watch these videos, but especially the people that have been here for several years now, that's just crazy to me. So, again, I appreciate all you guys. Huge shout out to you, Powerline, Gavin Davis, all you guys. Aaron now. I think Aaron's like a newer guy, but you watch all the videos, comment on everything. So let's read a couple more comments and then we'll get out of here. But I appreciate you all hanging out on a Thursday afternoon. Snowed today too. I was paying attention to that as I was streaming. It's snowing. Eagle says, great stream. Keep up the good work. Excited for the upcoming vids. God bless and go Birds. Appreciate you, bro. Joe Marinaro says we should go after a new wide receiver 3 that is a bigger impact player. Personally, I think, no matter who it is at wide receiver 3, they're just not going to have that big of an impact because that's the way the Eagles offense has been ever since Sirianni got here. I mean, you got A.J. Brown, you got Devontae Smith, you got Dallas Goedert, you got Saquon Barkley, obviously, and then Jalen Hurts running the ball. Like, there's only so many places for the football to go, so I feel like that wide receiver 3 position, while it's important, it's not going to be a position that gets you a lot of flashy numbers from, like, production in that way. So I don't think you need to bring anyone else in. Jahan Dotson's under contract for another season, so I think just roll with him, especially since, he made plays in the playoffs. He had that touchdown against the Packers. And he had the big catch against the Chiefs that I thought was a touchdown, and I wish was a touchdown, but, he stepped up. So I'm chilling with what we got. Already read that one. Been watching from Denmark since training camp 2023. Keep up the great content, man. I appreciate that, Birdie. Denmark, that's crazy. Got people watching from all over the world. That is insane to me. Let's see here. Dank Bird Gang says, bro, my Super Bowl hat came. That's awesome. Let me see if I can show you guys. I haven't even worn it yet. I don't know why I haven't worn it yet. Do I have it here? Well, maybe I don't have it. I thought I had it. I have my Super Bowl shirt somewhere. Oh, yeah, here it is. Pretty nice shirt. You knew I had to get that. I got the conference championship shirt too, and then this one's from 2022. I should probably replace that, but I feel like I don't know. We won the Super Bowl with this on the wall, so I feel like I should keep it, but I don't know. It's a great shirt though. No sponsorship. You guys should sponsor me. But God bless y'all. Go Birds. Yep. God bless, bro. Dodson's fine. Wide receiver 3. Said Zach Martin's retiring. Did that just happen or did this happen before and I missed it? Zach Martin retiring. Oh, yeah. Look at that. Okay, hold on. I was going to get off, but let's do this. So, hold up. This is definitely interesting. It's not nothing crazy. Zach Martin's been a great player for a long time. Says will follow through on retirement, informing the Cowboys he plans to walk away after 11 seasons. NFL.com's Tom Pelissero reports the decorated blocker played out a 6-year extension, one adjusted after a 2023 holdout, and was set to hit free agency for the first time. So he's retiring. So sucks for Cowboys fans. He was a good player. He was a really great player for a long time. I think he was definitely falling off, though, for sure. His play was definitely in decline. So, not crazy. Just happened. Appreciate you for giving me that information, Birdie. Just joined. Is there any more news now? Well, the Zach Martin thing just happened. He just retired, so it's interesting, but nothing crazy for the Eagles. Martin was a fantastic player, don't get me wrong, but he's kind of, on the tail end of his career. Obviously now it's over, but wasn't as good as he used to be. You're back. What's happening? Nothing much. We're about to wrap up the stream here just a little bit. Zach Martin just retired. But Aaron's World, speaking of retirement, Travis Kelce's probably going to retire. We'll see about that one. I don't know. He looked like he quit in that Super Bowl. Like the Eagles defense made him – he didn't look great. But, yeah. Gavin Davis says, and Dak was saying the Cowboys are close to the Eagles. I know, bro. It's crazy. It's crazy the level of delusion in Dallas that happens. Like, obviously, you're the quarterback. You want to express confidence. Obviously, you're always going to think you're in a good position to win. But it's like the same, it's just hilarious. Like the same recycled line gets used all the time. It's, this is our year. They always say that. Why do they always say that? All the Cowboys fans say that. It's like, this is our year. Michael Parsons has said it. This is our year. He just basically said, he's like, now it's our turn. Like, why do you guys do this to yourselves? You set yourself up to disappoint your fan base and to get laughed at. It's hilarious. Let's see here. JW says, what are your thoughts on the new OC? I talked about that earlier in the stream. Basically, I said kind of in the middle. There are pros and cons, but at the end of the day, I think we're going to be fine. I don't think he's a Sirianni puppet. He's not going to let Sirianni walk all over him based on the reports that have come out. And also, he's been here with Jalen Hurts for 4 years, so I think that continuity is good. It's just, can he call plays? That's the big question. So we'll see. I hope he can. It seems like he's been a big part of the play calling all 4 years that he's been here. At least the process. He hasn't actually called the plays, but all right. I think we're gonna get up out of here. It's almost 5:30. So again, I appreciate all you guys who came through for the live stream. If you did enjoy it, again, make sure you drop a like. Make sure you guys subscribe if you haven't, although I'm sure everyone who's in here has subscribed. Well, my views just jumped up, so I feel like I don't really want to go, but I got some work to do for tomorrow. So yeah, but again, appreciate all you guys for being in here. We're going to try and do more of these moving forward in the offseason and future after that. If you guys missed anything, you can go back, rewatch the stream. But again, appreciate all you guys. And yeah, make sure you guys watch my video tomorrow. Keep an eye out for that, and then more live streams in the future. But with all that being said, I'll see you in the next video or stream. Peace.